Geek Vibes Nation has made the switch to Anchor. Let me tell you a little bit about Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more great podcast networks. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
Welcome to an all-new episode of Star Wars Saturday. I'm your host, Juwaan, joined by one of the finest councils in the galaxy. Starting off with AJ. What's going on, AJ?
What's up? I'm ready to go talk some Star Wars. My dog recently learned how to jump out of his crate, so that's fun. Not fun at all, but overall, great day.
Yeah, no, when I had a dog, we put obviously, the little gate things up, so like he's not just walking anywhere. The day he found out how to jump over that, I gave him away. I said, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Because he did it with so much ease. It was just like, I'd put him there, he'd look at me, I'd start to walk away, he'd jump, I'd look back, and he's over the game. I'm like, no, I can't play this game.
My dog is still like 5 months old.
Oh, okay. You're developing that attachment. You're
good away, AJ.
But in all seriousness, no, that is awesome. But great shirt, AJ. I see your Star Wars shirt. Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise.
All right. See, I always do this with the movies. It's called Rise of Skywalker. I don't know why, but it irks me that it's not of the Skywalker. Yeah, I don't know.
That represents a single person, though.
It was. She called herself Skywalker at the end. She was the Skywalker that. I mean, wouldn't you classify it? Yeah. I mean, unless someone wants to make the case of both, obviously.
I mean, technically, she isn't a Skywalker. I think she just meant as like the legacy is still going on within her.
Right. So that's what I thought the rise was. Like everyone else was dead, so. Through all the death rose another Skywalker in Rey. That's what I thought it meant. So I'm like, when you don't say the, I'm like, we could look at it like there's like 30 Skywalkers out there that's rising.
Maybe. You never know.
No, I hope not. No more Skywalker.
Yeah, that storyline's over.
We're good. We've gotten games, books, movies, music, everything. We're good. No more. But also, welcoming back Dakota. What's going on, man?
Glad to be here, man. Got a little crazy, a little busy, but very happy to be back talking Star Wars.
We are so happy to have you back, man. And we missed your signature backgrounds. I'm just loving it. I feel like I am there with you. I love that, man. You always bring it. But today's show is jam-packed. We're going to have so much fun. All right, our first topic is what if? Now, this concept is we take a Star Wars movie and we debate ideas of the movie. What if we had changed something small? Or it could have been big that we changed. I'll go first. This has always been something I've always thought about, but it was never more apparent to me until I saw the episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars where Qui-Gon Jinn was somewhat, but not really haunting Obi-Wan on that planet of the Force. Remember where Ahsoka went evil and it was like, whoa. And then you saw Anakin have the Vader cry in the middle of that.
Oh, was that the episode with the son and daughter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was in that episode where Qui-Gon seemingly was kind of telling Obi-Wan, like, what if he's not the one? And Obi-Wan was like, bitch, what? You made me watch this kid. What you mean, what if he ain't the one? And so my what if, to start off is, what if Qui-Gon did not die? Would Obi-Wan and Anakin have taken the same path? Now, AJ, me and you debated about this numerous times. I told you, even though you always say if Qui-Gon was there, it would have changed some things with Anakin. I always say Anakin would have gotten to where he was anyway, because he didn't do it for anything else but love. So if Qui-Gon's there, sure, could he have maybe talked Anakin out of being stupid and thinking that being a Sith Lord could save her from dying? Possibly. But at the end of the day, Anakin, if Anakin was with Padme while she was giving birth and he was seeing how much it was taking out of her and stuff like that, I don't know that he doesn't try to make like a underhanded deal with Palpatine at the last second to try to save her. And then maybe Palpatine says, well, in order to fully turn over, you have to kill Obi-Wan. And then maybe we still get the Anakin versus Obi-Wan battle. So it's a what if that's haunted me since that episode, or that arc of Clone Wars, which was a very well written, I think it was 3 episodes, I think it was. It was very well written. I was like, whoa, jeez, man. Gave me chills seeing Anakin embrace the dark side, seeing Ahsoka embrace the dark side. Really kind of foreshadowed a lot to what was coming. But AJ, I'll start with you. How do you feel about that what if? What if Qui-Gon was still alive? What would that have changed?
See, the way I see it is that with Obi-Wan, he was more of a brother figure to Anakin. So Anakin didn't really listen to Obi-Wan. So he basically did whatever he wanted anyway.
That is true.
But with Qui-Gon, I think he would have been more of a father figure that Anakin needed, since he didn't have a father at all. He only had his mother. So I think things would have went differently, because I think Qui-Gon would have had a tighter leash on him, kept him away from Palpatine. I think Qui-Gon even just didn't trust Palpatine at all, really didn't trust anyone at all. So just to see that dynamic with Anakin, I think things would have went really differently than what happened and what we got now.
No, you make a great point. Anakin definitely lacked a father. And that's what I think ultimately Palpatine fell into the stigma of for Anakin. Mm-hmm. But he definitely did not have that. And Qui-Gon obviously was supposed to be that father figure for him. Obi-Wan definitely was more of a best friend. I wouldn't even say brother. I'd say best friend. Only reason why I wouldn't say brother is you're more inclined to listen to your brother than you are your best friend.
I feel like you'll be more disobedient to your brother because of that rivalry.
No, disobedient for sure. But I think when it comes to mentorship, you take it more so from your brother than you would your best friend. Your best friend trying to explain life to you when you're around the same age is different than your brother who's older than you. And it's like, no, I went through that. Like, don't listen to that guy. Listen to me. So that's why I said I kind of view it more like a best friend. Because Anakin was constantly going, oh, you wanted me to go left? All right,
go right.
Go right. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? Why do you have to do this? But no, I mean, Qui-Gon could have just changed so much of Anakin. I think the biggest flaw of Anakin, well, not flaw, but the biggest issue Anakin had was not feeling accepted within the other Jedi. I think Qui-Gon would have helped him through that a lot better than Obi-Wan did. Obi-Wan was something that Qui-Gon would have never let manifest, and that was becoming a pawn of the Jedi. Anytime you hear Obi-Wan talk, it's, we gotta see what the Chancellor says. We gotta see what the Council says. Qui-Gon would have been like, nah, fuck all that. Anakin, what do you want to do? All right, go ahead. I got you. No problem. Go ahead. Go do it. That's what I think Qui-Gon would have been for Anakin, to where even if Anakin wasn't part of the Jedi Council, he would have just felt like someone was in his corner, like Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan could only do but so much. We saw how much that bugged Ahsoka. To where it was like, people are dying, and Obi-Wan was like, well, unless the Chancellor says okay, they're going to keep dying. It was like, wait, what? Qui-Gon would have never let that happen, ever. So I do think if fundamentally would have been different, but I still can't say Anakin wouldn't have become Vader at the end of the day, because that just seems like, the butterfly effect. No matter how you change it, that one thing is usually always going to happen. I think a lot about Anakin could have changed, except for that. I think that was always destined.
I just think the reason why Anakin was changed is because of his ignorance.
Yep, that's
Obi-Wan
fair.
didn't really teach him about how things worked, but instead he taught him what he should do. With Qui-Gon, he will explain things more than what Obi-Wan did, so he wouldn't be that ignorant to listen to Palpatine, or I think he'll just be a little bit smarter to not have that I want everything lifestyle. I just feel like that's something that would have changed.
The one thing you could never teach someone out of is fear. We are seeing that in real life. I'm not going to get political here, but we're seeing that in real life. You can't teach someone out of just being afraid. Regardless of if they have knowledge about it or not, they're just afraid. And that's one thing Qui-Gon couldn't have taught Anakin out of. He could have taught him that there is no way to save her. If that's what's going to happen, it's going to happen, Anakin. But Anakin's fear of Padme dying ultimately outweighed everything. That's why he killed children, AJ. That's something that once that fear overtakes you, it just takes you to a whole nother mindset. And that's why he was free within his mind. He just murdered children. It didn't even seem like it bothered him in Revenge of the Sith. Like, he walked in and the kid was talking and Anakin just unleashed his lightsaber. Like, it wasn't, you didn't even see. Like, that's one thing, if I could ask George Lucas, were you trying to show that him killing the kids didn't bother him because you didn't show any emotion in his face?
Yeah.
It just kind of seemed like, oh, all right, I'm going to kill these kids. It wasn't like, man, I'm about to have kids and you want me to kill kids? It just didn't seem like it bothered him. So that's why I say, AJ, his fear of Padme dying just outweighed everything. I honestly don't think he would have been that sad if he lost the kids but kept Padme.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where I view Anakin. But I'm sorry. Go ahead before we pass to Dakota.
I just think that it's true that you can't teach people not to fear, especially of death, but you can teach them to accept it. I think Qui-Gon would be able to teach them how to accept it, someone from dying, like his mother. I think it was in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
she died?
No, not died. She was murdered.
Murdered, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Never mind.
That's why he hates the Sand people, which sounds really racist every time I say it.
Sand people.
Sand people does sound a little racist. But no, I mean, you make a great point. That's the one thing our parents are supposed to teach us. That's why they always say a parent should never bury their child, because a parent spends their life preparing you for the day that they're no longer there. Mm-hmm. We don't really think of it like that, but that's their ultimate job. It's to prepare you for what life is supposed to be without them. They're supposed to give you all their knowledge. So Qui-Gon could have done that, but we do see once it hits, it affects people completely differently.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Maybe he could have prepared him, and then the day Padme died, it still launched him into becoming the Sith Lord.
Yeah, but the reason why she died is because of Anakin.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I don't think people realize that, but it is 100% his fault. But Dakota, how do you feel about this what-if scenario? What do you think Qui-Gon surviving Darth Maul, what do you think that could have changed?
Yeah, I had always believed, and then when I watched that behind-the-scenes Dave Filoni thing, he just, spoke to it perfectly. But I always believed that was a pivotal moment. That was that's when I watched it after I'd seen the originals, I was like, wow, that's why everything is the way it is. He died and he wasn't there. That's it. I think that Qui-Gon, because to my understanding, or maybe I'm just making this up, but the visions of Padme dying, wasn't that the interference of Palpatine? Wasn't that him
manipulating? I mean, I don't know if it specifically was ever said as that, but you would have to imagine he played on Anakin's biggest fear, which was losing the one true person besides his mother he's ever loved. Not cared about, because we see Ahsoka he cared about, Obi-Wan he cared about, but loved, willing to kill for. We've only seen that with his mother. We saw it, and that's why I'm like, Clone Wars, the animated series, becoming canon is so confusing because
Fair.
we saw it. Remember when Obi-Wan faked his death and Anakin went on a huge rage?
Oh man, what's he? Yeah, well,
Yeah, remember Anakin was ready to kill for Obi-Wan. So I mean, it's always the anger's always been in Anakin, and you can say it's been a manifestation of Palpatine because he's a creation of Palpatine. But it's always so confusing with that, Dakota, because I don't think it's necessarily been said, but I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that those were forced manipulations.
Especially what the last movie set up.
Right.
Rise of Skywalker was that he was just pulling the strings. Like there was just so much more that we didn't realize was happening. But yeah, I think if Qui-Gon was there, I think that was why Star Wars is the way it is. Like him dying just like was a super while things do stay the same, I agree with you. There is always that constant, which I think the constant would have been Anakin's anger, which he's just, some people are born, that's their emotion, they're just angry, and maybe losing his mother, that obviously that pushed it. But I don't know, I think Qui-Gon being alive, he definitely needs that father figure. He needs someone to show him. I think Obi-Wan would have showed him how to act around politically, how to be around the council and stuff. But I think Qui-Gon would have told him how to live, how to be a person. Like he was just they were soldiers, and Qui-Gon didn't believe in that. He believed in he would obviously kill, he'd fight.
Do what's right,
what was right. Only that's it. He didn't care what the council's, he showed that in the movies, that he didn't care what the council said. He wanted to do what was right. And I think that balance of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon would have made him a self-sufficient person that would have been able to, Padme's death wouldn't even happened because I don't think he would have gotten to that point. But even if she did, I think that balance between those two role models would have made him an actual well-balanced emotional person.
Yeah, and there's so many things that Qui-Gon could have helped. Because remember, Qui-Gon and Mace Windu were the only people that were kind of like, I don't trust this Palpatine guy. I really don't. I don't trust him at all.
He would have called him out.
100%. Especially for messing with Anakin, he would have picked up on that immediately.
Yeah.
But I think he would have also made life a lot easier for Obi-Wan. Because remember when Obi-Wan was telling Anakin, I get it. I've been in love also.
Yeah.
And we obviously know Duchess Satine. I think Qui-Gon would have allowed Obi-Wan to understand how okay that is. It's natural. It happens. AJ and Dakota last week made the hilarious good point of how is it the council doesn't want you to fall in love and have kids, but they want the Force to continue. How's it going to continue if no one has kids and it's just you six? Yeah. What happens when you six die?
The Force will provide the kids.
The Force will provide the kids, yeah. Last time the Force provided a kid was Anakin, and we see how that ended. So, I mean, that's one thing I would love to talk to Dave Filoni about and understand, what he thinks the reasoning behind their, obviously, no love law is. Because it's just confusing. When you want more kids, so the Jedi Council...
I think they were allowed to have kids, but they weren't allowed to fall in love.
Be attached. Yeah.
So it's you, come bear me a child.
Basically,
right, you don't kiss me in my mouth. You just
basically, yeah.
That is insane. That's medieval times. It's hey, get over here and give me a baby.
Wasn't Star Wars based on that? Samurai and all of that?
I do believe so. Yeah. I do believe so, yeah. That's insane. I could have never existed in that world. It would have just been so uncomfortable. You just walk down the road and you're hey, you. It's oh, my name's no. I don't care about your name. Come bear me children. It's what? Yeah.
Get me too in a second, man.
Right? Yeah. Come on. But no. All right. So let's move on. So that's our what if for Qui-Gon. If he never died, that's something we could go into a rabbit hole.
Talk for hours.
It changes so many different scenarios. Because the biggest thing it changes is if Qui-Gon's alive, we would have to assume Darth Maul dies the same way. But now if you're Palpatine, your focus can no longer be Anakin. Your focus now is, how do I stop Qui-Gon? that would have been your biggest task. How do I stop him before he figures it out?
Yeah.
Because I do believe Qui-Gon Jinn, because think about this, all battles would have been different. Remember when Obi-Wan went to go investigate Count Dooku? That now might have been Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And what if Dooku tells Qui-Gon what he told Obi-Wan? Now Qui-Gon has the ammunition to go take out Palpatine. Does he succeed? We'll never know.
But you can't forget that. You can't forget that Palpatine was always one step ahead. Just because that changes doesn't mean Palpatine would have known. Because there was an episode in Clone Wars was he was able to look into the future, and I just think that he would just do the same thing over and prepare over again.
The one thing that does change about time, that does alter it, is information. So I think the reason why he was always a step ahead is because no one ever, once Qui-Gon died, no one ever really questioned it. No one ever really questioned what was going on behind the scenes, some of his decisions. We know Mace Windu didn't like them, but it was never like, I think this man could be evil. It was never that. But I think we all could agree Qui-Gon was very much against Palpatine. So much so, I think he could have maybe talked himself into Palpatine is maybe not playing for our side. So I think information could have maybe altered, not changed AJ, but maybe altered the future that Palpatine might have seen for himself. And I just would have loved to have seen a comic or an animated series of Qui-Gon, Anakin, and Obi.
Full grown fighting out.
Full grown, like how dope that would have been.
That would be pretty cool.
If you put Ahsoka in that mix and we're seeing the four of them just defend the galaxy, don't ever show me another Jedi.
Okay, that's another question. Now, since Qui-Gon is alive, would Anakin still have a Padawan? Would Qui-Gon allow him to have a Padawan at the time?
I'd say yes, because remember, that was a Yoda decision. It originally was quote unquote Obi-Wan's Padawan. That Obi-Wan then went, did y'all not just see me raise this motherfucker? I don't want to do that again. Like they were like, all right, fine, Anakin's. But it was very much so. Time out. No, AJ.
Yeah, right. And then Obi-Wan would have.
No, hold on. You're right, AJ. Let me tell you why you're right. I believe, and this is me paraphrasing, this isn't me direct quoting anything. I believe Yoda said he thought it could center in mature Anakin. If Qui-Gon's there, would Anakin be immature? Or would he have beaten to a different path, or a different beat, rather? It's just so hard because he's naturally rebellious. We saw that as a kid, even when Qui-Gon was alive. He's just naturally rebellious. I find it hard to believe that he's not still rebellious, even with Qui-Gon.
Well, the reason why he's rebellious is because he never had a father figure.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Look, this is a rabbit hole. We got to dedicate the episode to Qui-Gon. I'm going to go to you, Dakota. Do you have a what-if scenario?
Oh, yeah. So I was actually, I was talking to, so just context, my girlfriend had never seen a Star Wars movie ever. Just
neither has mine.
She had never. She met me and has now seen everything.
Mine hasn't.
But it was like I had to fix that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna date me. You got me. And plus Marvel too. She had never seen. I got her into everything, and now she's a huge fan. But anyways, we were talking today, and I was telling her about the topics, and we were talking a little bit, and I got to the idea of. Well, actually, I suggested something, and she suggested, I'll split it up. So basically, I was thinking, what if we had a bounty hunter game? Because I think that would be really cool. And then you choose from like 3 different, and you can go on, journeys and stuff. And then she suggested it. Why not it be a type of Pokemon Go kind of thing where it might be a mobile game that you're able to bounty hunt, like in the world. And you pick there's a bunch of, obviously there's more to it, but like you would be able to pick a bounty hunter or create your own life as a bounty hunter and then go out in the world and catch bounties. So
I like that.
I'm just picturing me trying to stop someone and like them just like punching the hell out of me and me going, I hate Dakota. Dakota's
This is your fault.
knocked out. Yeah, this is your fault.
Thanks.
No, I mean, we can attribute that to our next topic of creating a video game also.
Oh, wait, was that not the question?
No. This one was just purely a what if. Like,
oh, what if? I'm sorry. I thought I thought you said what if, what video game? My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Do you have a what if though?
Oh, another, yeah, a what if, yeah, I totally forgot we're still on that.
We talked so long, that's why.
Yeah, if Vader had survived, yeah, actually wasn't there the comic where he had that white suit? He survived.
I don't think I read that one.
Yeah, there was a little, I didn't read it either, I just saw a picture of it, honestly. But there was one where he survived Luke and Palpatine, you know, that whole interaction, he threw him over, but then he survived. Like he lived, and then he changed his entire suit to white. And his Vader suit was white with red eyes, and he just like lived on. But we never got to see what happened after that. So like him and Luke and Leia together as an actual family, like that would be my what if. I think that'd be really cool to see.
All right, so that what if is problematic. Here's why. He would have been a prisoner for the rest of his life. Now, would he have allowed them to take him prisoner?
I think so.
That's a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he would have been possibly the best treated prisoner that they've ever had. But here's why it's problematic. Completely dissolves all of the 3 movies we just got.
Yeah.
None of those movies exist. And here's how. Vader would send Snoke, and Vader would tell Luke and Leia, something's happening. And Kylo's entire persona was to honor his grandfather. Yep. If his grandfather's not dead and his grandfather's now on the light side, he would go visit him and go, hey, I want to kill people. And his grandfather, not really the best thing to do.
I would recommend
it. Look, I don't have a hand.
I mean,
how horrible this is. Like, I need this machine to breathe. You don't want this life. Don't do it. And then, like, what if he says, okay, Grandpa, I won't. No 3 movies. Like, we never get.
Very different. Because I think no matter what.
It would have been interesting to see what Palpatine would have done if he wasn't able to manipulate.
Oh, he would have found a way to do something. That dude, he's just a.
But here's where it changes, Dakota. If you're Palpatine, there's nothing that you could do that could beat Kylo. Oh, he would have been Ben Solo. Sorry, Ben, Luke, and Vader. Nothing. There's even if you put Rey out there and you make Rey your new Kylo, she's nowhere near powerful enough to stop the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Nowhere near.
Yeah.
No matter how Luke, Vader, and Ben.
Oh, okay. Well, Vader technically Vader is too old to fight. He wouldn't be able to fight at that age.
He would force lightning the hell out of Rey.
Wait, are we just talking about Rey?
No, he said Vader would be too old to fight.
No, and I'm saying he still has some serviceable abilities. Maybe he can't go hand to hand with somebody, but he has serviceable abilities.
Yeah, I think Rey is strong enough to stop that. He wouldn't just sit in his cell and go, all right,
whatever happens, happens. He would get out and fight.
Rey literally took the full brunt of Palpatine's blast, and she
so did Vader.
But Vader. That's my point though. That Rey is strong enough to handle
all 3 of them.
If Ben can do it, then yeah, Rey could do it too.
Wait, you said if Ben can do it? Ben didn't face them all at the same time.
I'm saying if Ben can do it, then
I don't think Ben could do. I don't think Kylo could have fought Darth Vader even in that state. Luke, and then if you want to replace Kylo with Rey, I don't think he could have beaten all 3 of them at the same time.
Would Luke still be in the picture then, since he's
There's so much.
He would be because we're talking about if Vader's alive, maybe the history of those 3 movies don't happen. So it changes it. Maybe Vader helps get Luke through losing Kylo. Like maybe he still loses Kylo, but Vader helps him work through it, and he doesn't abandon himself. He kind of becomes one with himself, talks out with Vader. Maybe even Force Ghost Yoda pops up. It just
I actually like that.
It could change Luke.
I like that story better than what we got. To
Yeah,
be honest, if that actually happened, and then you had Rey and Palpatine together, Palpatine didn't even have to die in that movie. If Palpatine didn't have to die in that movie, Rey, his granddaughter, and Palpatine together, I feel like then those two could stand against Darth Vader.
That would have been a fight. Yeah.
I think that would have been dope.
See, I would swap that because if you're going 2-on-2, I wouldn't want Vader to be what represents the light side. I'd rather it be, Kylo. Keep saying Kylo because I love him so much.
Ben.
I'd rather Ben and Luke versus Rey and Palpatine, because I think Luke would be able to handle Palpatine, and whatever he couldn't do, that's when you get the dope scene of all white Vader coming out and helping Luke stop Palpatine while we see Ben take down Rey. So
Or trying to take down
Rey. And AJ and Dakota, close your eyes and picture this, right? Palpatine, all his forces. Palpatine. Let's say Palpatine. Two of the what are those people called in that Star Wars game, the new one that just came out, the
Inquisitors.
Yes, 2 Inquisitors.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, 1 Grand Inquisitor, Rey and Palpatine, right? And then here's the final battle scene you get. You get Leia with a lightsaber. Luke.
Oh, that was my spice I was adding in there.
All white Vader, and remember Han's alive, so you got Han and Chewie plus Ben Solo.
I don't think a Grand Inquisitor would be able to handle himself, though. Remember, a Grand Inquisitor isn't strong enough.
You can put 2 Inquisitors.
Okay.
2 Inquisitors, 1 Grand, and maybe one is his pupil or whatever. Rey at her full peak, and Palpatine versus all white Vader, Leia with a lightsaber, Luke with a lightsaber, and Ben Solo. Plus, obviously, the reserves of Han and Chewie that can take on like the stormtroopers or whatever.
With that, what if I always thought, like when I said that, what if I would assume if Vader was still alive, then Luke and Leia would honor him, even though he's in jail. Leia would then train as a Jedi.
I think
she does.
She did, but she stopped it once Luke, I believe, kind of went off into exile. It was like, there's really no need anymore. But if he's still there, Vader would kind of enforce to them how important it is to fully flesh out your abilities. So seeing Leia, even though it would have been weird to see an old Carrie Fisher jumping around with a lightsaber. I just think that drastically changes an entire universe more so than Qui-Gon being alive, because that then nullifies all the history of these 3 new movies, which are obviously canon, have given us. It changes it completely. So I look at it and I'm like, that might be one of the greatest what ifs I've never even really thought of. Like, I never thought of, like, because to me, I'm like, all right, if Vader was still alive, he'd obviously be locked up somewhere. I never really thought about, well, now Luke, maybe Luke and Ben's relationship is different, because what is, like, the whole reason Palpatine was able to, or Snoke was able to manipulate Kylo was, hey, I knew your grandfather. He was an evil overlord. No one knows that Vader died a hero. No one knows that besides the people that were there. So that's how he was able to manipulate him. But what if he's not dead and Vader's able to tell him, it's not the way, man. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Now changes all of Kylo Ren's, motivations. That's a whole course correction that we just finished saying was a better 3 movies than what we got. We just made a 3-movie arc 1,000 times better than the one we got.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Look at that. Dakota came in here and did his first mic drop on Star Wars Saturday. He just simple as that. I love it. AJ, before it's your go, did you have anything else to add about this what if?
I love it.
I'm with
all
you.
I gotta say.
I'm with you. All right, AJ, what if you got, man?
Okay, mine was actually close to Dakota's. For me, I I was wondering what if Vader chose not to save Luke, so Luke dies, and Vader still decides to kill Palpatine. What would happen? So would Vader technically still be the chosen one, or what would happen for the overall Star Wars universe with Vader being the overall Sith? Would there still be like a rule of two? Would he want an apprentice, or there's just a lot of questions of what would happen if Vader decided to, okay, Palpatine, you killed Luke, good job, I'm killing you next, and then that's what happens.
I would hope, I'm not going to say it as a guarantee, but I would hope if that happens exactly how you said it, Starkiller would become canon again, because you would assume that would be his apprentice. So, I mean, fingers crossed, that would be the best thing ever. Only issue is, do we remember how Starkiller became Vader's apprentice? Let me remind you guys.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Vader invaded a planet.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
I remember.
killing off the remaining Jedi there.
Yes.
The Jedi was trying to protect the kid. The kid, obviously, the Jedi dies.
Awesome.
And then Starkiller takes the lightsaber, Vader's lightsaber, and ignites it. Now, remember, if Vader is cutthroat enough to kill his son, he would have very easily just killed that kid, and then there's no Starkiller, right? So I would go, if Vader's willing to kill his kid, he would have easily killed Starkiller.
Or he might have piqued his interest like it did in the game, and he would want him to train him.
Yeah, but remember what his goal was. His goal was, if I could train you strong enough, you could help me kill Palpatine. But if Palpatine's already dead, is that still his motivation? Is his curiosity still needed to be piqued?
Good question.
Would be the question. So to me, I love that what if. If he lets Luke die and then kills Palpatine, he's unstoppable. He is unstoppable because you now have someone that, because I assume having a daughter for a father is different than having a son, same as a mother's relationship with her son is always different than hers with her daughter. So maybe Leia could have been the one that really got to his heart and maybe weakened him enough for them to kill him. But I highly doubt that. I think he would have killed her too. I think if he found her, he would have killed her too.
The question is, would Vader still go out and look for a Jedi? Because one of the main things that Palpatine did was tell Vader, go out there, find these Jedi, kill them. Would he still listen to that direct order, or?
I think he would have still killed them, not necessarily as an order, but purely because he does not want any kind of rebellions against his authority. So he wouldn't want anyone that's secretly out there getting strong enough to maybe take him out and free the galaxy. So I think he would have just done it out of necessity of, I don't want someone to get stronger than me one day and now I got to go fight them. Like, the whole purpose of me killing these people was to relax a little bit and, chill out. Can't do it if I'm looking over my shoulder. So I think he still would have. And if Vader's alive and he killed his son in Palpatine, we're talking about a Vader we've never seen before. That's a Vader that's more dangerous than when he first became Vader. So AJ, I like your what if purely because it's side of Vader I don't think would have ever been able to be stopped. So that's when it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know. That's crazy. Dakota, I'll go to you, man. What if Vader let Luke die and killed Palpatine?
Yeah, I think he would have tried to secure, like you said, he would try to kill the Jedi to secure his place, right. Overrule. But I believe he would have gone insane. I think he would have gone crazy. He would have mentally broke, killing your kid, after real, that's such a snap decision you have to make, or he would have had to make in that moment. And I think thinking back on that and trying to continue him being bad or whatever, I think he would have gone insane. like just straight crazy. I don't know what that would have done. Maybe, yeah, definitely like power, like crazy power hungry ruler and like crazy oppressive, but I think he would have eventually gone insane and maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
I,
go ahead, AJ. Go ahead.
I just think that since those two are dead, there's really no one that can stop him. So I think he will purely focus his attention on can I what is it? Can I revive? Oh God, what's her name again? Goodness, Padme.
I don't know.
Again, he basically stopped for a little bit. Would he continue that quest afterwards and not worry about anybody else?
You see that? I saw a clip from that VR game, Vader Immortal, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That part of one of the missions was like you were sneaking around and you saw Vader at like this ancient ruin kind of thing, like still, and it's all about the whole thing. The ruin there was about reviving the dead. Yeah, I don't know if you guys you probably saw.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably would have continued that. That's a good point too. He probably would have definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, that's, man, I thought Dakota had the mic drop with his.
This mixes things up.
That's a mic drop. Like AJ picked it up and then dropped it again. Like that was, jeez. I mean, I can see the only thing is like Star Wars isn't, and this is like an obvious duh, but it's not actual history. Meaning, as strong as we think Vader would have become, you would have assumed they would have just wrote in a hero to offset.
Someone that equals him, yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's a fun game to play till the writer's like, I found someone that could face Vader, and you're now like, oh, well, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, why don't we do 3 movies where everything is super dark and like Vader has taken over everything, and then when they feel like they want to continue it, they can have a hero eventually.
It doesn't even have to be one hero. It could be 2 or 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing like how we have Power Rangers, like 4 or 5 Force sensitive kids that were chosen.
That would be a dope ass fight. To see like 4 Jedi or whatever you'll call them at the time, and 1 Darth Vader. I think that would be a crazy fight right there.
Crazy Darth Vader.
And we're talking a Darth Vader that does not mind just wiping through everyone. Everyone. Like if you had one of them like on the younger side where he's like 11 or 12, Vader's like, I'm gonna kill you first.
You're first.
Yeah, you're the most dangerous, so I'm gonna kill you first. I don't care if you're younger.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this one first. And everyone watching is like, he was just 12. And Vader's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. What? Did you not see when I first turned? Like I killed like 28-year-olds. Like I don't care. But yeah, I mean that's the one thing I've always regretted about
Ahsoka's still alive as well, so she could help.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Kanan is still alive.
Yeah, that doesn't change. Yeah, that doesn't change. That still stays the same.
Yo,
No, I was just gonna say what drastically changes in AJ's scenario is if Vader kills Luke, it forces all the Jedi out of hiding to come together. Because you don't have just this one beacon of hope with Luke. You now are the hope. The galaxy is the hope. So you're hoping that everyone comes together. That's why I'm saying I would call them the chosen 5 that are selected out of all the group of the Jedi. They're the most powerful. 4 or 5.
Got chills.
Yeah.
Disney, take the idea. I'll allow it.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Dakota. What were you saying?
Yeah, I would just pay so much money to see a group of Force-sensitive kids led by Ahsoka take on Vader.
Right? And the first movie could just be the opening scroll is letting you know that this is the events where Vader killed Luke and killed Palpatine. Or let Luke die. Sorry, that was your exact what if, AJ. Sorry. He let Luke die, let Palpatine kill him, and then kill Palpatine. So the scroll would let you know it's been 2 years since the events of that. Vader has risen to a new height of power. And in that time, the Jedi have come together to train these 4 to 5 Force-sensitive kids to become the new beacon of hope for the galaxy. And then the first movie is all about Ahsoka being the leader of those kids, trying to get them to where they need to be. By the end of the movie, we don't see Vader at all to the last 20 minutes of the movie, where they're on this planet trying to save whatever, and then in comes Vader. And this is where you get everyone's jaws to drop, right? In comes Vader.
Beats all of them.
No. He kills Ahsoka. Right? I'm out. And here's where it gets fun for us. He kills Ahsoka, and obviously Ahsoka makes it so where the kids are able to escape.
Yeah.
Guess who finds the kids in the end credit scene?
Leia.
Kanan finds the kids.
Actually, I would switch that. I would allow Kanan to actually train them with Ezra. Kanan dies protecting the kids.
Only reason I wouldn't start with that, AJ, is if we're going to do this and do this right, you have to make it impactful. And more people know Ahsoka than they do Rebels. Yeah. So that would hit people because she's so mainstream, especially now. Because let's say if we were really pitching this, once this movie ever came to actuality, it would be after we've seen Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So that character would have been so mainstream by that point. So you killing her in her first movie, and she dies within that first movie, everyone would go, "What is happening? Like, what are the kids gonna do now?" And
a 20-minute long fight. I would love that.
Yes.
I would love that.
And the great part would be, the kids would be fighting Vader's Inquisitor, and Ahsoka would be fighting Vader. So that way you're not kind of getting like just this visual headache of just seeing like 90 lightsabers against one. It's Ahsoka versus Vader, the closure we've all really been waiting for. Because Rebels left it open-ended. No one died. We know Vader didn't die, and we know Ahsoka didn't die. So that would be our closure to where Ahsoka dies, saving the kids. And then we see the end credit scene, Kanan. And if you want to put Kanan with Ezra, I'm fine with that. Kanan and Ezra, I would just do Kanan. He is now training the kids. He's picking up where Ahsoka left off. And then by the third movie, the kids are obviously older. They're more in tune with their powers, and we're now seeing them versus Vader. And then we obviously see the kids take down Vader. That would be a great 3-arc movie that everyone would be on board with. Obviously, one of the Force-sensitive kids would have to be Millie Bobby Brown.
It's a Stranger Things.
It's like people would hate us if Millie Bobby Brown wasn't part of it. But no, I love that.
I need Daphne Keenan there. You
love Daphne Keenan.
I love her so much.
Anybody else,
She's a badass.
I loved what she did in Logan, but I kind of feel like her and Millie Bobby Brown cancel each other out. They both do the same kind of, I don't want to say same kind of acting, but the levels they go are very similar. Like when Millie Bobby Brown gets that cute, adorable, sad, or that high intensity, they just kind of are like right here. Yeah. But if it's 4, I would want it to be 2 boys, 2 girls. Don't do 3 boys, 1 girl. Don't do that. I hate that so much. It's just so uncommon, especially in today's time. It's not common to have 3 guys, 1 girl. You telling me you couldn't find 1 other girl that was in the galaxy? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So to me, I would have it 2 boys, 2 girls, and I would have them different races or species.
Species,
species, different fighting styles, different force techniques. I would like that.
Completely different sabers for each one.
Right.
That's how Ezra's was so.
The designs would be completely different. Completely different. One would have a dual. Maybe one would have a single one, like you said, like Ezra, that turns into like a little blaster.
Yeah.
God, we could make Star Wars so much money. Oh my god. But this goes to what we said a few weeks ago, AJ. More so than Marvel, Star Wars is like the only franchise that their What If franchise could span into its own universe.
Oh god, yes.
Because there's just so many. Like when you watch the MCU, there's only like 5 different things that you could really what if, and it would drastically change something. We just said Vader living, and that snowballed us into a trilogy. That snowballed us into a story. Yeah, it's like Star Wars is on a whole nother level. So I mean, they need to do a what if. We got to get with Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy.
Tag him in this video once it's through.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I mean, shout out to him too, because
Yeah.
watching him. First of all, that whole episode of them, like I felt like the directors and stuff, they were talking over each other a lot in that episode. And then he starts talking about why Qui-Gon was so important, and everybody's just silent.
Yeah, when Dave Filoni talks, it's like if you had a round table for Marvel, right? And like everyone's talking, and then like Feige just comes and sits down. Everyone knows we know nothing compared to everyone shut up. So it's like when Filoni says like everyone's like, oh nope, go ahead, take it away. Like everyone knows. However much of a fan you think you are, Dave Filoni is like, you would think George Lucas raised him since birth.
Yeah.
That's how knowledgeable he is of everything Star Wars. So yeah, of course, when he talks, you listen. There's 2 people that when they talk Star Wars, I would never even butt in or even have a response. I would just let them talk. That's Sam Witwer and that's Dave Filoni. When they talk Star Wars,
not even George Lucas. 3.
Only reason I want to say George Lucas is because that's the obvious. That's like, well, duh, he created it. So that's like if you're like,
he's over it.
Stanley, he created it. But I just mean people that didn't create it, but have been raised through it.
They're so passionate, yeah.
To me, Dave Filoni.
You guys, I don't think y'all watched this, but you guys should watch Schmodown, where Sam Witwer. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Wait, Sam Witwer is always killing it when they do the Schmodown. Because you always think like, oh, Christian Harloff, like that guy knows his Star Wars.
John Campion knows a lot about Star Wars too. Those 2 went against each other, and it was close. It was really close.
I'd always put my money on Sam Witwer. Does not matter. So I'd always put it on him.
This guy would do it, and he would say the answer in an instant and with style. It's so good.
And it's crazy because, like, when you watch him, it doesn't even look like he's thinking. It's just, oh, he knows.
There you go.
Like how you know your name is how he knows Star Wars. It's just.
I'll send you the link, Dakota. I'll try to find it and send it to you.
Thank you.
But all right, let's move on to our second topic. We're gonna talk, and I'll let Dakota lead it since he started it for us. Create your own video game. Yeah. And I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on your bounty hunter game.
Yes, I was pretty excited. We were talking about it today, and I got pretty excited about it. Just the thought of having like an interactive between multiple people, like a Star Wars game other than Battlefront, where you can have other players be a part of it, and not just like a single player. You're out there, or even an open world, like GTA style of like a journey of a Jedi or a journey of a Sith would be sick as well. But yeah, I stick to the bounty hunter, and you have to bounty hunt other players, kind of like a little bit Pokemon Go style.
I would tweak that. I would say instead of a solo campaign or open world of a Jedi or a Sith, I would actually prefer a Red Dead Redemption Cad Bane style open world game, to where you might fight a Jedi, but you can't fight as a Jedi. Like picture how difficult that is, using someone like Cad Bane and trying to stop like a Luke Skywalker. Like I would love something like that. Obviously I don't think Cad Bane was around with Luke, but you guys get the point I'm trying to make. I would prefer a Red Dead Redemption Western kind of bounty hunter feel, to where you're given an option. You could either create your character excuse me, or they give you a list of like 4 to 5 actual bounty hunters in the Star Wars world that you could use. That way it's opening it up. So if you want to create your own character, you can, and that's your bounty hunter. He could have what's his name's helmet, with like Boba Fett's helmet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. But you kind of making it to where you can create your own bounty hunter and go on adventures with him. Or give me a list. Give me a list of a few. I might lean to it. You tell me I could play as Cad Bane, Don't even show me nobody else. Yeah, Cad Bane. Allow me to continue my quest. But yeah, if you do a style like that, and if you work with Rockstar, because Rockstar is one of the few games that could build a map that is just humongous.
And of
Right.
a ground and a space map.
Exactly.
Because that's what you gotta have. Star Wars. You gotta have that. Space.
Yep. And just seeing, like, could you picture, like, you know how in Red Dead Redemption you could steal someone's horse or someone's horse carriage? Can you picture stealing someone's ship? Like, how dope that would be? Because you'd have to go in there, kick them out, like completely out, or kill them and drag them out, and then go about flying your ship. I would love that, and then I would love it online if you if the only way to play online is you have to assemble your team. You could only play in teams online. So like that's your bounty hunter clique, and you guys could only play together. I'm telling you, it sounds like, well, what if my friends can't get on? You say that, but I guarantee you the peak sales will be for that game the first 4 months of its release, where everyone's making time to get on there together.
Yeah.
Go as a click.
Or even matchmaking too.
100%.
Yeah.
I guarantee you the first 4 to 6 months of that will be our highest sales of that game for online. And then, obviously people will just enjoy the single player mode, but multiplayer.
You gotta have photo mode. I love me some photo mode.
Oh man, could you picture Cad Bane doing this like that? But no, I would love that. But yeah, I would only tweak yours a little bit and make it like that, because if you do
for
that,
a console game.
Yeah, if you do that, people, because I think one thing that's never really been discussed is how much Star Wars fans value bounty hunters. Because we usually only get stuff like the Mandalorians, Jedi, Sith, sometimes smugglers, but never really bounty hunters. And that's where Filoni came in with. We had all kinds of bounty hunters coming through Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So he kind of made it cool to be a bounty hunter. So that in a video game form, I'm going for weeks. Don't even text me. Like, yo, Juwaan, what are you up to? What do you think I'm doing?
I wouldn't even text. I wouldn't even answer the phone.
Like, come on, man. Like, you shouldn't even be asking me that. Of course this is what I'm doing. But AJ, your thoughts. What are your thoughts on that the bounty hunter game?
I love Pokemon Go. I played it for like a month.
And then so much time on that. I used to. Not anymore.
That was all I played though. It was like a month worth because it was a couple glitches that I didn't really care for. But I love the idea, just going out and good exercise. So I'm all for that.
Bounty hunt them.
Basically. So I love the idea.
Yeah, I will say where I started to love Pokemon Go again, because I did not like having to be that goddamn active. Like the first 4 days I tried it. It's like, yeah, I'm never doing that shit again. But once Let's Go Pikachu came out, and then obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can convert whatever Pokemon you caught to putting them in the game. So like if you caught a lot of Pokemon and you got them leveled up really high, you can put them in Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. So to me, that's when I was like, oh, I need that.
I had this thing for that.
So you got the Switch?
Yeah, I had the Switch, and when I got that, and I don't even know who I had. I got to charge this. I have Mew in here, I think. It comes with Mew.
Oh, so like you could play as Mew?
You could play Mew, yeah. You could transfer him back to your game. Pretty crazy. That's like it was pretty crazy that you get that from just getting some.
I'm gonna need to see. Can you do trades? I'm gonna need to get that Mew from. We're gonna talk more. Don't worry.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more. But no, I mean, that would be a really awesome thing in the Pokemon Go version of your bounty hunter game. Kids would love it.
Yeah.
They would love it. So both of those games would 100% work. But now I'm kind of like, I kind of want us to make that open world Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that sounds especially with the next gen of consoles coming up.
Yeah, and it's like Rockstar has to be a part of it. I don't trust anyone else.
Rocksteady will be good too. I think Rocksteady will be good too, especially with Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum.
My one issue with Arkham Knight was and this is the problem I've always had with Rocksteady and Rockstar. Their driving mechanics are made to be realistic, but then you watch people drift cars, and you're like, they have more control turning a corner at high speeds than you're able to do with this Batmobile in a car in GTA. I just don't like how I can't make sharp turns. Even when I'm going like 5 miles per hour, it's still like I have to go slower than that to
You
hit
just
that
suck
sharp
at
turn.
it.
AJ, there's no arguments here, my brother. I can guarantee you that's the case. But that's just the one thing I've always hated. That's why I'm like, when Red Dead came out, I'm like, oh, thank God I can use horses.
Or Project Red.
And then I'm
Project Red
running
would be
with
good
the
too.
I'm running with the horse, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out of stamina," and I'm like, "What the fuck? What? That's like playing GTA and you run out of gas. It's like, what the fuck? What?
It's realistic. What do you expect?
Do you run out of gas in GTA, AJ?
GTA is trash. Trash. Trash.
Whoa.
Makes zero sense. You can't run out of gas and.
Oh, okay. That's why you're saying it's trash?
I'm just talking about that specific thing.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I almost kicked you out of this
the
episode.
the world overall in GTA is pretty amazing.
I will say also, AJ, the only reason why I wouldn't use Arkham Knight as an example for what we're trying to build with this is Arkham Knight didn't have an extensive map because it was only Gotham, and it seemed like it was only a little bit of Gotham. Like anytime you tried to go beyond the bridge, it would force you to fly back. It's like, man, I want to see what else is out there.
They can always expand, but the thing with Batman on the Arkham Knight series is because the story was just focused on that specific area.
Yeah, but I would have. Like, I think once you integrated the DLC for like Dick Grayson and stuff like that, let me be able to travel to Bloodhaven. Like, let me do a free roam.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that either. Yeah.
I wasn't that big of a fan of the DLC. It wasn't that good. Like the Barbara Gordon one was maybe my favorite.
I wish you could like switch characters in that game too.
Thank you. That's
they can always implement that, so it's not like they're really limited on
that's true.
That one specific.
No, you're right. But that was one thing that was definitely missing because it's like I could change my skin for Batman, but I can't change Batman to Robin. I don't want to play as Batman anymore. I just beat it like 6 times. I want to play as someone else. But all right. The video game I would actually, I think I kind of did when I worked with you on that.
Yeah, you basically did.
I would say one game that I would absolutely devote every waking moment of my life to would be a bounty hunter / stormtrooper or Mandalorian. It has to be one of those groups. It can't be a Jedi or a Sith, right? So you take a character where their weapon obviously is a blaster of some sort, right? Let me paint this picture. GoldenEye, but with Star Wars. Done.
That's it.
Done. Don't even need to say nothing else. Done. You being able to play in a galactic world, but it's GoldenEye style. You only see his hand in the blaster, and come on! I know anyone that listens to this is gonna remember how much.
Wait, is that first player or is that? What would that be?
First person, right?
Yeah.
Is that first
third person? I think it's third person shooter. What's Halo?
Shows us how much we know.
Let's Google. Let's not seem crazy here.
I think it's first person. Third person is where you can see the whole character. I'm pretty sure.
I thought first person was when you could see the whole character. Let's look this up.
I may be completely wrong.
I may be completly wrong.
First person, 100% is like it's GoldenEye. GoldenEye is first person.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
yeah.
All right. Okay, so GoldenEye is first person, so it would be first person shooter, but in Star Wars. That would be my my pitch, and I'd even go. I'm so confident with that pitch. I would even tell video gamers, there's no need for a main story. I don't even think anyone could tell you what the main story of GoldenEye was. It was just you play with friends. That was it.
So it would just be all multiplayer? Would you just want all multiplayer? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's pretty
cool.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you can go on.
No, I'm saying which is dope now because, excuse me, it no longer requires your friends to be over your house to play it. Then you just play it from the comfort of their home. You just go online and you're playing it that way, or they can come over and you play it that way.
Yeah.
But I definitely would want that to be the case to where it's first-person shooter, but with bounty hunters or Mandalorians or what was the other one? Troopers.
Troopers, yeah. That'd be cool.
And different kinds of troopers, not just the
Death
ones that we
Trooper
know.
all the way. Death
Cool.
Trooper for me.
There you go. So I would love it, and I would love if they brought it in to where you could use clones. You could use anyone that used a blaster. That's who you could utilize. I would love it, and I could guarantee you right now, people would have a
that'd be pretty crazy.
blast.
See, I wouldn't want it as a first person because I won't be able to see my character.
Yeah.
I would rather have it as third person. You can switch between the two, either first person or third person, because there are some games that you can alternate the controls for that. Red Dead Redemption is a good example. You can do first person and third person.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. A multiplayer just for Star Wars. I mean, we basically got that with Battlefront, but I think that could work.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. And my biggest issue is I don't know why it's been something that's been difficult for them to convert, but I still have no idea why Nintendo Switch that doesn't have a lot of Nintendo Switch only games year round. Why not just convert your N64 catalog to be able to be played on the Switch? Like I never understand that. They're doing it with that Mario, the Mario
Galaxy.
No, what was the one where it was like a free roam with Mario?
Oh man. I can't remember the name.
Oh, didn't it just come out? What?
No, that was a newer version of the original one that came out for 64. I think it was called Mario 64 or something like that.
Wasn't it just Mario 64?
I think it was
that one where you start with the castle, you slide around the penguins and crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's just Mario 64.
I think it is Mario 64. So if you create that, for us to be able to, I don't know why those games just don't convert to N64. I mean to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
That. I use an emulator on my laptop.
You wouldn't even have to release new games. You just drop that catalog. People would just play those. Man, I would go into a deep rabbit hole just playing GoldenEye. Are you serious? GoldenEye, No Mercy. Trying to think, Super Smash Brothers, even though they have the newer one.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else. Mario Kart, they have that new though. But they just have such a deep catalog that I would have played. But yeah, so that's my game, GoldenEye, but with Star Wars. AJ, you're gonna finish us out for this topic.
I think everybody should know mine. It's going to be an open world game because I love me some open world.
Same.
It's going to be different from yours, Juwaan. I want mine to focus on the Jedi and the Sith. You can have multiplayer in it. You can have a single player in it. I just think that with Jedi, or you can choose between a Jedi or a Sith, whichever you want. You can customize your own lightsaber like you do in Fallen Order. But you can just go to different areas, different galaxies. I think that would be pretty cool. I'm just spitballing at this point. I just want an overall Jedi Sith
full
open world game. Yeah. Basically Fallen Order, but on a bigger scale. And you can just pick between a Jedi or a Sith.
And a little more better combat.
Yeah, and a better combat.
Yeah,
and a better photo mode.
I don't know why, but they always make it seem like Star Wars games are impossible to do free roam for. And I thought Fallen Order was going to break that mold, but it didn't. And what I want to remind everyone is Sonic had an open world game. Now, it wasn't open worlds where you could legit just run all over the world, but it was the most free Sonic game or free playing Sonic game that's ever been created. Like, you could choose where you're going rather than you start at point A and then you have to finish the level. So to me, I'm like, Star Wars could do that, and I was really confused on why Fallen Order didn't choose to be that.
Well, for Fallen Order, you could explore a little bit and find like little hidden treasures and all of that.
No, when I
but
say
it's not
open world, I want to be able to get in my
like
ship
Assassin's
and
Creed
steer it.
and Red
No,
Dead.
no. Because Assassin's Creed is only open world to a degree. I want to be able, like, what I always wanted to do in Assassin's Creed is hop on a horse and just ride through. Just ride through the town, see what's going on everywhere.
You can do that in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I feel like
It's fun.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Not the originals. You can't just get on a horse and just ride around. You could
Yeah,
run
you can.
around the city, but not just get on a horse and ride around. And the city is limited because remember, it phases out.
Oh,
It only lets you go so far. So, like, I can't go into the next town over or whatever. I could only explore that one city that I'm in.
See, I think that's changed because you have that in Black Flag. You can go to one city, boat, move over, go to another city.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is when you play Grand Theft Auto and you're exploring, like, let's say the newest one that we assume is in LA, you could explore all of LA. It's not restricted to a township of LA. It's all of it. All of it. You feel like you're going everywhere.
Okay. For Odyssey, you can explore
I haven't played Odyssey.
You can explore all of Greek.
Yeah.
I haven't played Odyssey.
And what's the newest? Not the newest one. The one that came before Odyssey. Origins. Origins.
Yeah.
You can just go through. Literally, I think that's one of the biggest maps that we have in Assassin's Creed was Origins, because I think they did the exact grand scale of what's the desert called in Egypt, the Sahara Desert, or
Yeah.
And I think it's really huge. You might want to watch a YouTube video on it, but it's really big.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like, for what I wanted the newest Star Wars game to be was I could hop in my ship and just fly to my next planet. Like, I myself could fly, not I get in it and then it's a cutscene of me going to the next planet. I'm steering it. Like, I got to navigate, and then I can go into hyperspeed, but I got to be able to navigate it so, like, my ship doesn't.
Dude, look up Elite Dangerous, man. Elite Dangerous, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
Oh, No Man. Yeah, it's actually very similar. Yeah, like that. Oh, and
I like, because what we always have to remember is open world to some is, like, when I play the game, you don't make me do A, B, C, or D. I can walk around a little bit.
Yeah,
but I would tell people, like, is it Kanan Lynch? I think it's Kanan Lynch. I think that's the game. That's somewhat free roam because you're going through the city, but it's level based. Like, your goal is to go to the train station, and that's the only place you can go. Like, you can't just walk into a store or whatever. Like, I like the realness of it. That's why I love Grand Theft Auto, except for obviously not being able to, use gas. But I like that you can walk into a store, buy glasses, buy a soda, buy something to eat, or you can just rob the place. Like, I love how real and free-flowing that is, because a lot of people would tell you when they first got that game, was it dope to do the missions? Yeah. But was it even cooler to just go around causing chaos? Yeah. And what was even better than that was online. Like, online, once you could do it was like, I don't need the main missions anymore. I like the free roam of online. So that's why I said, to a degree, with Dakota's game, doing it to where you could play online, but the only way to is you have to have your squad. Gotta have your squad. So you never have to worry about your friends trying to kill you or anything like that. You're on the same team. And AJ, it'd be as open world as GTA is online.
You can have like a clan implementation too, like in Injustice. You can have like your own clan,
right?
And I guess you can like limit to how many you can have in a multiplayer, like 4 or 5 or 6 people, and then you can just go on that. Or you can have a private mode, and your clan, depending on how many people you have in your clan, you can verse each other, and I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. So that was, I love both of you guys' ideas. I'm still gonna find a way to pitch that golden.
I had a little thing, AJ, for your game. I don't know. Have you ever played Infamous?
Yes, I love it. Second Son is so good. I love Second Son.
That's such a great game. But that kind of good bad meter for that open world Jedi / Sith game, if you do certain actions in certain directions and a consistent amount of times, you turn from Sith to Jedi, your lightsaber could change, your kyber crystal gets infected, whatever. That like change, and you have like a chart. I think that'd be.
I'm off of that. I'm off of that one.
Yeah, what you call it? Red Dead has that. If you just go around killing people, yeah, you become like an outlaw. I've never done that. I don't know why. It's not fun to kill people in Red Dead, but I'll kill millions in GTA. But it's just so weird to kill people in Red Dead. I don't know why. It's so weird to me.
Trying to be a gentleman.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just so weird. I can't do it. Like I can't.
I still haven't beat Red Dead. I'm just in the world, just walking around, just doing.
Wait, the first one or the second one?
The second one.
Oh, I was about to say every man, like you can't be a man till you beat the first Red Dead. You cannot be a man till you beat that first Red Dead. Did you play the zombies?
No, I didn't play the zombies.
Missed out. Did you play zombies, Dakota? Oh, you missed out. Zombies.
I was planning on to it, and then like 5 years later, just completely forgot about it.
Like that's one thing. Also, why don't we have an open world zombie game? Like that sounds so stupid to me that we don't have that.
Yeah, we do.
What
open world? We have I think it's Left 4 Dead.
Nah, that's not open world.
No, that's not it. I'll find it. But yeah, I can keep talking.
All right, find it while I lead us into our last topic for today. Our last topic, we're gonna break down
Dying Light.
Dying Light. Oh, I've never played that. I didn't even know it was a zombie game. I've never played it.
And DayZ, I think is open world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never played those. So my apologies. I've never played those though.
Left 4 Dead, if you consider them zombies. I mean, not Left 4 Dead. What? Last of Us, if you consider them zombies.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I've played Left 4 Dead. That's not open world. But yeah, no, I mean, I've never played Last of Us. Like I told you, I don't have PlayStation. But I mean, they look like zombies. You'd assume they're zombies.
They're considered infected, not really zombies, but they're zombies.
If they're dead, they're zombies. I don't care how infected you're trying to tell me. If I could put a knife in his skull and he not die and he still walks, it's not infected. It's a zombie.
Or it can be a vampire. You never know.
Or it could be a vampire. That's true. All right, our final topic. We're going to be talking about what series had the better action scenes. We are going the original Star Wars, the Clone Wars series. That was very much Samurai Jack art style. Versus Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni's baby. That was very much 3D animation. Which, by the way, that took me a good 3 seasons to adjust to that level of animation. I was just like, oof, I hate this.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan at first of the 3D animation.
And everyone always goes, but you love it. Like, why did it take so long? And I'm like, if you watch Star Wars between the movie and the first 3 seasons and then the rest of the series, the animation is drastically different. Like drastically different. Look at Ahsoka then in the Clone Wars movie, and then look at her in this very last episode of the series. They look completely different. And I'm not talking about older, just the art style.
To be fair, with Clone Wars, the first season was basically like a test run. And you can tell within each season, it gets better and better. So
No. I'm with you. And we see that, like if you watch SpongeBob then and now, it's drastically different. It happens all the time. I'm just saying, I don't remember any cartoon being a 3D animation that visually just was like, oof, you look haunting. Like that was the scariest Cad Bane's ever looked. Is around that first 2 seasons. It was like, ooh, yuck. No, you gotta oof, but no. So I'm going with the Samurai Jack style Star Wars. There's just something so elegant about a action series where it's nothing but action, and there's just no talking. They cut out all the fucking chit chat. All the chit chat is gone, and you're just getting to the business. I do not, and it's tough because last few seasons of Clone Wars, the Filoni version, you would look at and you go, it's a lot of great battles there, but my favorite battle all time between the two would have to be Anakin versus Ventress in the Samurai Jack style
That was dope. Yeah.
Star Wars. That was so freaking good. I loved it so much. I remember saying when it ended, Clone Wars ended for good with this last season. I remember saying Anakin and Ahsoka, Asajj only fought each other maybe once, if that, because Kenobi was always there. There's never been Anakin versus Asajj with no Obi-Wan, ever. And I'm like, why? That is so weird. I don't know why they did it.
They did change that. Instead of it being Anakin Asajj, it was always the interaction between Obi-Wan and Asajj.
Right. But that battle to me stuck with me. I just remember saying, "Ooh, wow, this is intense, man." And because there's no talking, you don't have to sit through and I'm gonna kill you, and it's like you don't have to sit through all that. It's legit just the artistry of how beautiful the lightsabers look. And Anakin went pretty dark.
Yeah,
he went pretty dark trying to kill Asajj. But she was holding her own, man. But Anakin, I thought he was turning into Vader when I was watching. I was like, God, you gonna kill her? You're not even gonna try to arrest her. You're gonna kill her. But yeah, no, that's my all-time favorite. So I'm going with the Samurai Jack style Star Wars, the Clone Wars. AJ, what you going with?
I am going. Oh, I did love the original Samurai Jack style, but I'm gonna do the Dave Filoni Star Wars: The Clone Wars. There's so many fights that stood out to me, but the one that I think that stood out, the one I'm gonna choose is the Obi-Wan Asajj versus Darth Maul and Asajj, yeah, and Obi-Wan. I mean Darth Maul and Savage. Just to see Obi-Wan and Asajj fight together, I think was an incredible thing to see, especially since their rivalry throughout the whole series has just been, I'm going to fight you, Asajj. I'm going to fight you, Obi-Wan. And just to see them work together to fight Maul, who we finally get to see again, it's so incredible. I just love that entire fight. But the one that stood out to most of us as a fandom, I think, was Ahsoka versus Maul final season.
Yes.
Even before the fight, where you see Maul lift his hand up for acceptance of Ahsoka, I thought that was just a beautiful shot. I disagree. I love the talking, especially before the fight happens, because it just builds up that momentum of having that fight having more of an emotional lift. And I think the style gets a little bit better. I just love what Dave Filoni did and his staff did with Clone Wars as a whole.
I don't have anything against it, but you're not going to tell me that. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
All right, so this
wow.
is it. I have the sound off, but even with the sound on, it's a lot more music than it is direct dialogue.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's intensifying. Look at this. I feel the intensity. No talking.
No.
Nothing being said, but this was one of those, because I remember when I first saw this, I had no idea who Asajj Ventress was. This was fresh off of me seeing maybe the live action of Clone Wars or around Revenge of the Sith when I actually was watching this. So I'm like, I know Anakin. I'm like, who the hell is this? And I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, she is brutal. Like, look at the artistry of this. They're just going ham on each other. And we see and look, like that's one thing Filoni's didn't have. Look at how beautiful it is seeing the scenery change, seeing the rain hit the lightsabers. seeing how worn down they are from 5 minutes ago when I showed you when they began. And then it's just, I don't know, the artistry. And then this right here was when I was like, this might be like the greatest thing ever. We head into it and then we see, look how dark it's getting now, to where it's showing, like I said to you guys before, I thought Anakin was going to kill her. But it shows how dark it's now getting for Anakin in this situation. Look, no fear, no conversation. I love it. This was completely great. But what I want to do, to be fair, is oh my God, he's raising it with his mind. Oh God, I love this show so much. Look at the craziness in his eyes. I remember saying it was one of the smartest things Star Wars had ever done by taking on the Samurai Jack art style. Because Samurai Jack, we know, is one of the greatest animes of all time. Like, that's not even to be discussed. It's easily one of, top 5, top 10. Just art style. Maybe not even story. Some might debate it, AJ. 10 at least. You can't make a list of 10 and not have it. But
I count that as a challenge. I'm gonna do an article on that.
I'd like to see how many you put before Samurai Jack, so I can cancel you out here, AJ. But I want everyone's to be showcased. So what was yours again, AJ?
Mine was I had two, but mine was the Obi-Wan Asajj versus Darth Maul and Savage.
That one was really good. And I only reason I truly love that one, if I'm being completely honest with you, AJ, is because excuse me, we got to see Obi-Wan use a
red lightsaber.
A red lightsaber. And I was like, ooh, yay. I like that. I was like, you should use that more often, Obi-Wan.
He quickly got rid of it though. He was like, here, have it back.
Yeah, he's like, get this shit out of my hands. I don't want this. But I want to showcase yours a little bit, AJ. To be completely fair, I try not to use the dialogue so we don't get this taken down.
That's fine.
This already probably is going to be a problem. But I love this because Asajj, on so many different points of her character arc, showed that she's not a bad person. She's very mean-spirited, but she is the product of what she was taught, and we saw Dooku raised her. So, you know, but we see right here, she's like, we got to work together, man. We got to get the hell out of here. And Obi-Wan's like, I'm always down for peace. Like, that's not a problem for me. But I love Savage. A movie with Savage and Darth Maul would curl my toes.
Crazy, yeah.
like I would freaking love that. That's Savage saying, I want that shit. I want that back.
He's like, you can have it back after this. I'm fine.
He's like, yeah, man. He's like, let's get out of here, and you can easily take it back. But I loved, and correct me if I'm wrong, Clancy Brown was the voice of Savage Opress. So you had Sam Witwer at his peak doing Darth Maul, teaming up with Clancy Brown, which is always fun to see Clancy Brown doing a voice of something. But I love this. I love the savagery of Savage Opress, no pun intended, because he was just purely a brute monster. In the real world, like, Savage is what Brock Lesnar would be. Like, that's just the pure savagery. To where you're just like, it's not even fair. Like, how does someone challenge you in UFC? Like, I'd never want to fight that guy. But here we see Obi-Wan finally getting his actual lightsaber back and saying, get this shit out of my hands. I do remember this, though, AJ, when the movie came out. They came out with a box set of toys with Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, Asajj, and I want to say a droid or something. But I remember I loved, like, there was one pure joy, was connecting and disconnecting Asajj's lightsabers because they connect so weirdly. It's not like this. It's more like that.
Yeah.
I had the time of my life with that lightsaber, man. So seeing this battle was just so much fun because it's just, and to see how overpowering Darth Maul was to Obi-Wan and how quickly that changed the next time they met. Where Obi-Wan was like, you're never gonna catch me lacking again.
That's the thing that I really like. In Phantom Menace, you know that Darth Maul can easily beat Obi-Wan, but because of that, he was really overconfident and let
Right.
his guard down.
Right.
And
I think once he killed Qui-Gon is when I think he felt like I got rid of the stronger of the two.
Yeah.
But when no one ever takes into account when it comes to this was beautiful.
that was gorgeous. I
That
love
was dope. That was dope. But when no one ever takes into account of when speaking about fighting is the artistry of it, the being outsmarting someone. And that's
It's
what
a brain.
Obi-Wan.
It's as much as a mental thing as much as a physical thing as well.
Right.
Many
Completely.
people always forgets about that or don't even know about that.
Underestimated is what I would say. They underestimate how smart you have to be in the fight. Like, sure, could you be the tough brolic jock that's just throwing punches? Yes, but every fight movie, what is the guy that is the smaller, weaker guy always
It's
do?
like a game of chess.
Yeah,
it's
you
like a
just
game of
outsmart
chess.
him. Yeah. All right, so AJ got Obi-Wan and Asajj versus Savage and Darth Maul. It's funny how the two ones we put on both have Asajj. All right, Dakota, let's see if you're going to switch this up, man. What show do you think had the better fight scenes, and what fight scene do you want to put up?
So this is really hard because I grew up on obviously the animated one, the first animated one. And then I continued watching and I fell in love with the Clone Wars, the Dave Filoni's version of it. And but what sold it for me was this last how Filoni was able to end it. And one of my favorite all-time fights, for some reason I just love it. I think it's a crazy fight, was Maul versus Pre Vizsla.
Ooh, yes.
That was just some crazy acrobatic stuff, and I don't know. I just there was a lot of moments like I'm rewatching it again now because I needed to talk about it. But there was one moment where, if you throw it up,
I got you.
You're gonna throw it up, yeah. Well, I'll let it speak for itself. But yeah, I think I love the Samurai Jack style. I love Samurai Jack in general. And
the framework for your pick versus Maul versus Pre Vizsla, I think, is the better of the two. Just the overall composition of that fight, I feel like, is really, really good. So I love that choice.
Thank you. Yeah, it's was one of the most entertaining. Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. This is a great setup by them that ultimately failed, but it was a really good setup.
Yeah. The whole it was more than the fight for me.
Right.
I think was why I love it so much.
No, I am completely with you.
Everything Maul says is just so captivating. He doesn't even have to say anything. It's just the way he just presents himself. It's just so good.
To me, he always captures me with how he says it. How slow and lethargic his tone is. Like, it doesn't have to be sped up, but it's just so demanding. And this is a perfect example of someone being too full of themselves. Why Pre Vizsla thought he could defeat Darth Maul, I'll never understand. But he thought he could do it. He thought he could do it.
Because I could fly.
Yeah, no, he definitely thought that was an advantage.
Oh, and then the headbutt back. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things. He headbutts him. He's like, oh, yeah?
I'm like, the guy has horns on his head. Why would you headbutt that guy?
Wait, go back 1 second. The flamethrower over the back.
Hold on.
Yeah, probably right there. Yeah, right after this. Wait, right? Yeah, the flamethrower over the back, and he ducks with it. I mean,
yeah, man. Filoni and his team were masterful. In all of these big battles.
He's like, all these really damn tricks. Just fight me like a man.
Yeah, that's all he wants. Fight me like a man. But what's funny about Jedi saying "fight me like a man" is you're using a lightsaber. Just an average person wouldn't have that. So, like, fight me like a man should be like no weapons, fist.
To be fair, it's based off of samurai, and samurai usually fight with the sword. So
yeah, but if you come out with like a gun and he says "fight me like a man," pick up your sword. What? That's not fighting you like a man. We'll just put down both the weapons and let's square up.
Yeah, this is just.
Whoever drew that Duchess Satine right there, it looks horrible. And her eyes are like
They should be.
like that.
They should not be allowed back in the city.
No, not at all. They definitely should have got Dakota to draw that. Like they should not have. Whoever did that should be fired.
Not so looking thing.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty bad. And the craziest thing about this was to watch them watch him lose. Like that had to have been so tough.
The way he ran is so ridiculous.
he firms up. He like Maul matches his hands with where his hands are gonna be, and then he knows. Grabs him.
One thing I always said was when people were like, "Oh no, Star Wars or Clone Wars is for kids," I'm like, not really. It's pretty violent. He just broke his arm right there, and they showed it.
And he uppercutted. Hey, doesn't he curb stomp? Oh no, he doesn't curb stomp.
No. Oh my God, Dakota! If he did,
I thought I thought he like kicked him when he was down.
No, but that's different between curb stomp. If he curb stomped him, I would say don't ever have your kids watch this. But this is crazy. Look at that. You can't have your kid watch that.
I mean, Maul could totally curb stomp with those legs.
Oh no, he could. I'm saying that just would have been would have been the moment where I said, all right, enough. Like enough. All right, kids should be able to watch this. I want to play one more, even though we shouldn't. Because it already probably is going to be flagged. But this one was when I really fell in love with the Clone Wars, was seeing this battle here, because he just looks so demanding and so terrifying that it completely captured me. I'm going to play this before we wrap it up. Hold on. See if you guys can see this. All right, so this scene right here is when we see them hiding out from Grievous in the original Star Wars, the Clone Wars show, where they're hiding out from Grievous, and he comes out like Jason Voorhees and is just slaughtering the Jedi. And he's picking them off one by one, but he's doing it in an adjacent way. The reason why I compare it to Jason Voorhees is when people run, they're running so fast, and all he's doing is walking, and he somehow catches up with them. It's the most confusing shit I've ever seen in my life. But it's legit what Grievous does here. Like, he doesn't do anything completely, like, masterful or anything. It's like he pops up. Just pops up, grab one, kill him. Pops up, grab another one, kill him. Like, I just thought it was so dope. And I want to say one thing that this show did better than Filoni's Clone Wars was it really showcased events to where it's like, what would happen if you just had someone like Grievous or Asajj and an entire armada? Like, not just an army, an armada. Would these Jedi be able to get through that? And this show showed you, no, they would not. They would die. They would die badly. So I want to get through this. For anyone watching it, it's pretty slow here. It's when Grievous starts to pick them off that it really starts to pick up.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, right here. Look at this. It's so Samurai Jack style. Oh my God. I would have loved to have seen a crossover. Samurai Jack using a lightsaber.
Oh my God.
That would have been dope. That would have been dope. And seeing Aku team up with Palpatine. Oh, come. All right. Enough. We're making them money here. But
what
look
color
at this.
Lightsaber for Samurai Jack?
Say it again.
What color lightsaber for Samurai Jack? What do you think?
Blue.
I'm thinking orange.
Orange would be a nice look. Look at this. Look how masterful Grievous is. I tell you, that was the one thing I hated George Lucas about was Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith did not make Grievous cool at all.
Yeah.
I never understood what. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was like, I never understood why couldn't they just all use their force power against them and it would have been done. No.
Yeah,
one person uses the force and that's it. And then these are all master Jedi. And
yes, these are all on the Council Jedis. And they're fighting as if like they just became.
They have know what they're doing.
Look at that though. He grabbed him by the throat.
Someone like this.
Craziest thing ever. Craziest thing ever. But obviously this goes on. Grievous kills the Jedi.
I love this. This is a really good fight.
Yeah, we're not gonna do the whole thing
Excuse me.
here, but that was another reason why I love that original one is because, and it gave us what was possibly one of the coolest looking toys. That Clone Wars gave us Obi-Wan in trooper armor with the actual helmet on. I don't know why that tickled my fancy, but it did. I loved the hell out of that when I first saw it. I'm like, wait a minute, they could do that? I'm like, what? But I will say the biggest advantage I give Filoni's Clone Wars was it had the heart. Because that Clone Wars didn't show you Rex, didn't really show you Cody. It didn't really show you that the troopers were more than just a weapon. So that was the one thing I lend to Filoni's Clone Wars over that. But they're both phenomenal series. If you haven't seen the original Clone Wars, I don't know why they don't have the rights to play it on Disney Plus, but just go on YouTube and type in full season of Clone Wars, and it'll pop up like 2 hours worth for you to kind of get a glimpse of what that world was like. Trust me, I watch it all the time, and it'll get you where you need to be. But yeah, no, I love it. I love both. I love all the epic battles that you guys put up. I'm not gonna show them, but do you guys have an honorable mention? That what I just showed you is my honorable mention. Dakota.
I said my honorable mention was the Darth Maul versus Ahsoka.
Got you.
I gotta agree. I was gonna say that I was thinking as my new favorite because of that happening was my new favorite fight, but I think
I'll let you have that one, and I will go. And I would say Palpatine versus Darth Maul and Savage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
That one was a good one. I loved Asajj and Savage versus Dooku. I loved the fuck out of that. That then became Anakin and Obi versus Savage. That then became Anakin and Obi versus Asajj. It was just very confusing, like where that went in the trajectory. But I do always remember saying Dave Filoni was a genius when he created Savage. Because I'm like, someone that menacing that does not know how to properly wield a lightsaber or use the Force, that just goes out and tries to brute strength everything, was really dope. Really, really, really dope. But all right, guys, unless you guys had something else to add, we can wrap this up. We had a great episode today, man. I had a lot of fun.
Damn, yeah. That was
awesome. I don't think there's anything else. We didn't have any news. We did have confirmation that The Mandalorian would be aired its usual time. No setbacks, no distractions, no nothing. So I know we're all looking forward to seeing when Ahsoka pops up. And when we see the return of the Fett, that is what we are all looking forward to. Me personally, all that secondary. I just want the show back. I just miss it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of watching. I'm
tired
of
watching rewatch
all episodes. Because that's all I've been doing, man. It's legit the most current Star Wars we've had. So I'm like, we gotta keep watching this shit on loop, man. I hate it. But I'm actually
read
watching
comics. You can always read the Star Wars comics.
Don't make me read in times like this, AJ. What's wrong with you? I'm actually watching Rise of Skywalker in the background of doing this. Just because I wanted to remind myself of how much I'll miss Kylo. So I try to watch this like every now and then.
I don't know if you saw it before, but here you go, Juwaan.
Cool.
Is that a blue lightsaber?
Yes. So little story. I believe it's Obi-Wan. So I had an old toy and I lost the toy, or I don't know, whatever happened. I don't have the toy anymore. It was Obi-Wan. But Kylo, I built this model. It was a Bandai one. It comes in pieces and you got to build it. So it comes with his lightsaber, Kylo's lightsaber, obviously. But because of the last movie, I put him with the blue lightsaber.
I
like that, man. That looked dope. But I'm gonna miss it, man. I'm like, Feige finds a way to keep Loki alive, and we gotta just be okay with the death of Kylo. I don't accept that. I don't accept that at all. Not at all.
I mean, Palpatine lived. So, hey.
AJ, we all agreed after that movie that was the biggest load of BS ever. The fact that you had to go all the way back to bring Palpatine back, You couldn't just create a whole new villain? You bring Palpatine back? I hated that with every
They had to bring back the fan service.
Yeah.
They had to get what the fans want.
I will tell you right now, there is probably only 2% of actual Star Wars fans that was like, you know what we need? We need Palpatine back.
They were pretty vocal
the hell
though.
missed
They
them?
got what they wanted.
Yeah.
They got
I'm
what
like,
they
if you wanted
wanted.
to bring someone back, bring Vader back. Vader and Kylo versus
He
Rey.
was back in spirit. He was back in spirit.
And I'm like, Rise of Skywalker didn't even do the one thing that was like the most easiest thing to do. When Rey looked off right before she said her last name was Skywalker, why wouldn't you show Hayden Christensen plus Luke plus Leia, like all the Skywalkers, show them all at once so we get to go, all right, that's
that like when the Avatar looks back at all the
right. Like, could you picture if Aang ever looked back and it's just one? It's like, why do you keep showing up? Where's everybody else? Oh, sorry, they didn't want to come. It's just me. No, I want everyone. So I'm like, that would have been a perfect time to show Ben, Anakin, Luke, and Leia for us to have the final goodbye to the actual Skywalkers. So I'm like, the fact that they didn't do that, I'm like, J.J. Abrams, that's like a softball pitch. How did you not knock that out of the park? Why is it when Ben died, that was it? We didn't get to see his Force ghost. Stupid.
Rian Johnson ruined his trilogy, so he said, fuck it, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah, that is true. He definitely did give us all a middle finger.
I love the Rey and Ben kiss. I love that so much.
I didn't have a problem with it.
So many people hated it. I was like, yes.
I didn't have a problem with it, aside from the fact of like being able to bring someone from the dead. Because then why does Star Wars exist? That wouldn't have happened. Like if Anakin was like, oh, I can do that?
Yeah, no, that is very true. That was very Sleeping Beauty-esque. So where it was just like, oh, you have all my life force. What? That's possible? Anakin's like, I wouldn't have killed children for this. I would have died and let you live with the kids. Like, I would have done that. But yeah, no, we had a great episode. I want to thank Dakota. Great bounce back episode, man. We've missed you. We're glad to have you back. And I want to give a shout out to the other Dakota who will be taking a leave of absence due to the arrival of his baby girl. I do not want no one say her name. I want that to be something he reveals to the world. He told that to us in confidence, I believe. I think so. But still, I want to let him introduce his child once she arrives. But hopefully by the time we do our next episode, she will have already been born at home with her parents. And Dakota could start playing Star Wars movies for her immediately. Like right as
soon as she gets home.
As soon as the door opens, like as soon as she goes goo goo gaga, you go, no. Imperial March. Learn it. Learn it right now. Could you picture like she's napping and she's humming the Imperial March? And it's like, wait, what? What is she humming?
You need to play that as a lullaby.
If the first words is da first, you did something wrong.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I always told Joel, if I ever had kids, my kids' first words would be Batman. Not dad, not mama, Batman. Say not Batman.
Snake.
Oh, Batman.
Say Batman. You'd have to say it like that too, Dakota. Listen, boy or girl, that's how they have to say it. I'm Batman. You have to say it. No, I'd live a very Batman strict household. I can guarantee you that. My kids would be sick of Batman. They'd be like, Dad, Batman is everywhere. It's like, I know. And they'd be like, why do you have a picture of Ben Affleck? He's not even in costume. I know. I just want you to know what greatness is, kids.
That isn't Ben Affleck. That's Bruce Wayne.
That's Bruce Wayne. You don't call him Ben Affleck. You don't get to do that. You call him Bruce. Yeah. But no, I do want to again give huge congrats and all of our love and support to the other Dakota. We cannot wait to hear all the baby stories, man. And how she was able to use the Force. We cannot wait to hear all those stories. But again, I want to thank my counsel, Dakota, AJ. Thank you guys both so much. Yeah, we will see you guys next week. We will try to come up with even more innovative topics I think we all had a lot of fun with these topics.
Yeah, these are very good. These
are a lot of fun. They definitely embarked a level of conversation that's been the longest we've had since we started these. Because I think we started at like, I want to say like 5:40. It's like almost 8:00.
Oh my God, it's 7:43.
Yeah, so this is a perfect time to wrap this up. But again, thank you guys. Thank you to the galaxy out there that listens to us. We will be on any DSPs that you use to listen to podcasts, and I'll also put this video up on YouTube. So enjoy it. Everyone stay safe, sane, and may the force be with you.
Always.